Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. All right. We are starting a little bit early, so I'm waiting for the people to get in here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody. Let me share this with the people while we here. Hey, thank you so much for the people that have hit the like button already. I really do appreciate it. Now, why is my mic all the way over here? Thank you, thank you, thank you. We live now. We live now, people. Hi, everybody. I'm letting the people get in here. Hey, I see people in the chat, guys. Thank you so much. We were having some like connection issues earlier. My something disconnected. Usually something becomes unplugged, and so I have to reset everything up. Welcome, everybody. Thank you. Shout out to my mom who shared this live on the Discord. Letting the people know, everyone. We live now. Thank you, guys. Okay, we got to hit the ground running right away because we definitely got some stuff to talk about. And one of the pieces of news that we're gonna start with this situationship right here. Okay, welcome everybody. Hold up, y'all. I really should not have a ponytail right now because my head's gonna start hurting. I'm just not ready for a ponytail. So quick. I had to put my hair down. Welcome everybody. So I posted something on my community wall. All right. And already I'm like, Lord have mercy, I cannot. If another person tells me, and I love y'all, you guys know it, but I have to tell you, and I've said it before. If another person tells me that I need to do my research on Julia Wandelt, not the McCann case, Julia Wandelt, I'm literally going to block you. I don't know what else to tell you. Because I have been covering this woman for a couple years, and a lot of people there's people that followed me from that case here. If I had somebody in my community wall talking about she was charged with harassment, not defamation. Yeah, I know. No shit, Sherlock. Of course, it's harassment. If another person tells me that I have to do research on Julia Wandelt, when I have done numerous videos on it, when I have shown how she pretended to be 3 other missing people before landing on Maddie McCann, then we have a problem. I don't like the McCanns, but Julia is not and is not Maddie McCann. She did a DNA test. She's done several DNA tests. And guess what? They did one while she was in custody, and it showed that she is not Madeleine McCann. You are not the father. That's what it shows. So if I have another person that says, you do your research. No. I can get you. The McCanns, I get it. McCanns, I have my thoughts. I side-eye the McCanns a lot. Not arguing about that. But this woman is not well. She has not been well for a long, long time. A lot of people gassed her up here, and they used her for whatever agenda that they had. And now she is guilty of harassing the McCanns. And then she filmed the crime while it happened. Okay? And that's what had happened. I'm sorry. But you guys are entitled to your opinion about, the McCanns. I'm like I said, I'm not a fan of the McCanns. I'm not. I side-eye them, period. I do. But my side-eyeing them does not mean that Julia is somehow a victim. She's not. She's a very sick woman that has been enabled, in my opinion. And, now she's being held accountable. I'm sorry. But I've been following this for a long time. And for the people that are making that documentary, because I was contacted, I want to say almost a year and a half ago about it. I hope that it exposes a lot, because it wasn't just Julia McCann. Hey, BJ, shout out to BJ. It wasn't just Julia McCann. Like suddenly she's, she didn't fly herself out there to the UK to stalk the McCanns and then filmed it and then created content. And there were a lot of enablers of her. So I think it's a story that's very interesting to tell if they do that documentary. And, that'll be interesting. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, James, I don't like the McCanns. I don't. I'm sorry. I feel like, unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't think Maddie McCann is here. I think she died several years ago, probably shortly after her disappearance. And in my opinion, I believe that there was more to the McCanns than meet the eye. But in this situation, I don't believe that Julia Wandelt is Maddie. Julia Wandelt signed herself up And I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm literally hearing that she was found guilty. So let's get into this real quick. Real quick. Hold up, y'all. Where's this? Here it is. So, woman who claimed to be Madeleine McCann found guilty of harassing the family. So, this was today or earlier, a couple hours ago. She's been sentenced to 6 months in prison, but she has been in custody since February. So, she's already served time. Keep that in mind. I truly hope that she gets some help. I hope that her family supports her, because her biological family. This case, they had the McCanns actually testify. She is ordered to remain in in place indefinitely or until further ruling is made. So she's going to stay in custody. And Karen Sprague, the other lady that was enabling her behavior, will be, I guess, incarcerated for 5 years or in custody for 5 years. This is crazy. The McCanns say that they take no pleasure in the verdict, but they are very much, this has been happening. But again, she didn't get here by herself. She was enabled, and that's what happened. I don't know. You said it is crazy work. Live More, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Shout out to Live More. Thank you, love. Shout out to Live More. Thank you. I agree. I don't think the truth has ever been told for. Yeah, I don't think so. I think there's more to Madeleine McCann, but I just don't think that that's Maddie McCann. I'm sorry. I don't like the McCanns, but I don't agree with putting a woman there that's not her. But she has a lot of fans, and people were sending her money. She didn't get to the UK by herself. Somebody sent her there. And you can hate the McCanns, but that situation is crazy work. So I don't know. Hopefully they hold more people accountable. And I said that, and I mean it, because this woman was not well, and she didn't just get there by herself, in my opinion. And Nixie, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you, love. Shout out to you. Thank you. Grandma Sprague got told off by the judge. He basically told her she was egging Julia. Yeah, she was. She filmed herself in the crime. And the lady did that. Like, she was egging her on. You said Diddy busted with alcohol in prison? No way. Hold up. Sorry, y'all. I had to stop real quick. Diddy busted with alcohol. Are you sure? Don't let this be some. Oh, breaking news. Breaking news. Oh, shit. Now, was it rubbing alcohol? Are you sure it wasn't baby oil? Lord have mercy. Diddy busted by prison officials for drinking alcohol. Josh. I was not. Hold up. Let me fix my title since we're talking about this now. Breaking. Diddy busted for drinking. Why am I laughing? It's not funny. But I'm not surprised. I mean, what y'all think he was going to stay sober? And I spelled drinking, right? With Oh my God. And who did this? So that's TMZ. Why they put a beer bottle? Homemade alcohol? And there goes his argument. What? I didn't even read it. I literally found out through y'all in the chat told me, and I thought you guys were you said Diddy's making moonshine, or is he making kava? I don't know. Damn, he hasn't even been there for a month, let alone a week, and he's already been busted. Diddy's sobriety journey took a detour in lockup this week. TMZ has learned that he was drinking behind bars and got in trouble with some prison officials. Sources with knowledge tell TMZ Diddy had some homemade alcohol in Fort Dix, the low security prison where he's been doing time. He told the alcohol was made of Fanta, sugar, and apples. Not Fanta? Oh, Lord, that reminds me of that Fanta commercial. Fanta, don't you wanna Fanta, don't you want? Oh my God, let me stop. Yo, I didn't know they did that behind bars. Let me see. Fanta commercial. See, this is what happens when I have ADHD and I'm not medicated. Don't you wanna Fanta, Fanta? Hold up. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
Checking in can take its toll. Check out Fanta, nice and cold.
There you go.
Where on earth will they show up next? If you're not having fun, they'll find you.
Waiting for your chance to scream. Fanta helps you beat the steam.
You could be next.
Don't you wanna?
No, no. This is too much. Lord have mercy. See, I'm just hearing the news, y'all. So they made Fanta. Sorry, y'all. Detour. Fanta sugar apples, which inmates give 2 weeks to ferment into alcohol substances. 2-week-old Fanta with apples and sugar. I didn't know you could do that. I'm gonna have to try it. We're told Diddy got caught by jail officials, and prison officials plan to move him from his old unit into a new one. 2 sources tell TMZ prison officials have now reversed their decision and Diddy will stay put. Oh my God. You may recall Diddy made a big deal about his sobriety to the judge. Yes, he did, prior to his sentencing last month, telling the court that he was sober for the first time in 25 years. There's got to be, I know I got a sound effect button here. Oh my God. I don't know what to say. Is this a sound effect button here? That is crazy work. What do you guys think? Was this a big mistake? Was this like, what do you guys think? I mean, am I surprised? Am I at all surprised? Diddy. You said, hold up. Y'all are funny. Hold up. If they were using apples, I don't think they need yeast. It's self-fermenting. I believe it's called, is it lambic? Lord have mercy. You said it's called PRUNO? You keep saying it's called PRUNO. Is that what they call it when they ferment the alcohol? PRUNO? It's almost like prune juice. So they ferment it for 2 weeks, right? And then they have it sit out and then they drink it that way. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it is what it is. What am I supposed to be? Are we surprised? I'm not surprised. Are you guys surprised at all? I told you guys, people have to, want to get clean when it comes to situations like that. He's not ready. I do wonder if he's actually, maybe he was sober at MDC. Maybe it's a little bit different over there. You guys, Pruno party? Yeah, is it a Pruno? What is a Pruno? I've never heard of anybody call it Pruno. Okay, hold up. Now let me Google searches. Pruno alcohol. Oh, it is a thing. Okay. So Pruno alcohol is a prison beverage, also known as prison hooch or white wine. So it's what they use. They use the inmates use apples, oranges, fruit cocktails, sugar, and sometimes bread. So Prunos can refer to 2 things. It's homemade alcohol beverage made in the US, prison, or a small village in Italy. Ah, okay. So shout out to the person that was like writing Pruno in all caps, because I was a little confused about that. So it's a Pruno party? Oh my God. This guy, I don't know. I'm not surprised. Okay. I am not at all surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised. So you're introducing natural sugars, yeast, nutrients, and some acidity, which can make fermentation more successful. Ah. See, I don't trust anything. Ain't no party like a Pruno party. Lord. Can you tell I've never, thank God I've never been incarcerated because thank God I'm not drinking anything held. Didn't he complain about the fact that they had to boil the water, and here you are drinking Pruno juice from somebody fermenting something from under their bed? I'm good on that. I'm not drinking anything like that. So you come from a long line of moonshiners. Oh, did you? Didn't he say he was complaining about that? I remember Diddy was talking about, oh, I don't want to. It's so hard to get clean water. They're having to boil it. But here you are drinking pruno juice. I can't deal with that. Anyways, well, all right. All right then. I said he played a spin the bottle getting drunk. All right, enough. Well, shout out to the person that said that Diddy got caught with alcohol. I was not expecting that. As I was talking about Julia Wandelt. By the way, Julia Wandelt is not the child, okay? No. And Diddy got caught with pruno juice, okay? And so it looks like they were going to move him, and it sounds like they're not anymore. But if he's an addict and he's really struggling, I don't know what else to say. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he was also drinking while he was at MDC, because I just think that it's easier to get substances and drugs while you're behind bars. But that's just my opinion. You said I'm surprised he didn't say it was kombucha. I'm sure they know what pruno juice is, right? Yo, I know. Watch Mark at Livelo say he had to drink that pruno to sanitize the water. Oh, Marky Mark. Marky Mark. I know, right? This is too much. I don't know what else to say. All right, moving on. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. Welcome. We're about to get into it. Make sure you guys watch our video where we broke down this interview that why can't I get my thought process ahead? Sorry, guys. This video, I'm still thinking about the pruno juice. The Haro family, not the Haro family, Rebecca Haro's family did an interview with a TikToker by the name of Murdered by Nature podcast. And we did a little bit of review and we talked a little bit about it. I definitely want to talk. I broke it down and there were such interesting details to that. So if you've been following the Emmanuel Haro case, you might want to watch that. Okay, but first of all, shout out to the people that you guys emailed me a lot when there's something going on. Shout out to you guys. But as soon as I heard Nancy Grace was back, I was like, again, I'm just being honest with you. So maybe I'll read this before I get into Nancy Grace, because I struggle with Nancy Grace. So this is Los Angeles Magazine. LAPD stands by no further crimes confirming death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Now, I also saw that SF Investigates had posted something on his Twitter about this as well, pushing back. And I think it's important, maybe even go here. LAPD confirmed that KTLA News on November 6th, which would have been yesterday, that there are no prior news release stands on its own. That their prior news release stands on its own. That release stated that no crime other than the concealment of a body may have occurred in the Celeste Rivas case involving David. The LA County District Attorney's Office also confirmed that no case has been yet presented to their offices for consideration. It's worth noting that nowhere in the press release or in any official statements has there been any mention of an investigation into the relationship David had with Celeste. Yes, that could be a difficult case to prove because Celeste is no longer here to testify. But that does not mean it should not be pursued. First of all, I agree with this statement. How are they not looking into that? Hopefully, law enforcement and the DA's office will do their job and take on a case even if it's challenging. Even if the people closest to Celeste are unwilling to cooperate, okay? Because it would expose her knowledge of the illegal relationship, charges should still be filed. We must prove we will protect children from predators. In a way, it feels like Celeste delivered some form of justice herself with her final live stream calling David, #David, or D4VD for what it was, a child artist or a child R. Thoughts, opinions? Then it goes into, I think this is where, oh, wrong. That's not where I want to go. PLA Mag article. So LAPD stands by no further crimes confirmed in the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The LAPD told KTLA the only confirmed offense in the case of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez is the concealment of her body. A statement that now sparking questions as critics urge prosecutors to examine her alleged relationship with the 19-year-old David. The Los Angeles Police Department confirmed Thursday with KTLA that no additional criminal charges have been substantiated in the investigation surrounding the death of 13-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So that is the latest update or statement that we have as of yesterday. Okay. We know whose body was discovered earlier this year after she had been reported missing. In a statement provided to KTLA on November 6th, the department said its prior news release stands on its own, reaffirming that no crime other than concealment of a body may have occurred. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office also told the outlet that no case has yet been presented for review or prosecution. However, this does not change the fact that someone hid Rivas Hernandez's body, and someone should be charged and punished. The case has drawn national attention due to Rivas Hernandez's prior connection to David's Anthony Burke's 19-year-old singer. I thought he was 20. He's 19. No, he's not 19. Professionally known as David. I'm pretty sure he's 20, who had been linked to the missing teen before her death. Neither David nor anyone else has been charged in connection with this case. Following KTLA reports, several journalists, advocates, and online commentators expressed frustration that investigators have not publicly addressed the nature of the relationship between the artist and the minor. Steve Fisher, a Los Angeles PA, posted on X. Yeah, so this, I think we just read this. Nowhere in the press release does it say this. I'm not going to repeat that again. She does quote him. Law enforcement sources told KTLA that the case remains technically open, but reiterated that as of this week, no new evidence of additional crimes have been confirmed. Community advocates, meanwhile, say that they will continue to pressure the LAPD and District Attorney Nathan Hodgman office to pursue a broader inquiry. I don't get it. I don't get this. The question becomes this is my question, okay? This is my question. Y'all, we don't have to agree, okay? Are they pursuing an investigation into this relationship between D4VD David and Celeste? Are they pursuing that? Have they looked into it? That's the question. And if not, why not? When there is a victim, and this is an example of domestic violence, for example, the state or whoever's, coming in with charges does not need the cooperation of the victim, right? In most cases, a lot is circumstantial to build the case. So, what is happening here? There's a lot of moving parts to here. Say that they investigate this. Even the fact that the harboring of a minor, all of this, it's very telling. Guys, we just saw a picture yesterday and I was like baffled after my live because I couldn't even tell you where my mind was going at. You have a picture of Celeste and her cousin at Vegas at Caesar's Palace at the same date and time that David is with his family and he's performing there. I've said this multiple times. People do not give an ish. And it's not just the LAPD. It's a lot of people. They don't care about the crimes against youth, crimes against children. When kids are running away, that's the last thing in their mind about having to worry about a runaway and what a runaway gets into. They don't do anything. So I would hope, and maybe this is just a statement that they gave literally right now, I'm hoping that it changes, but I'm really upset to hear this news. I'm just saying, like, at the very least, can you answer the question? Are you pursuing an investigation or at least looking into this? Do you have enough to say, I can look into this, or there's enough information out there for us to look into this situation where this adult was grooming, allegedly, a child that ended up in the trunk of his car? It's upsetting. All right, let's get into this Nancy Grace. And I'm literally, when you guys told me about Nancy Grace, you guys sent it to me yesterday. I was like, oh no, not Nancy Grace again. Okay, hold up. Why can't I share this? I might have too many tabs open. Here it is. And thank God that Nancy Grace chopped this up a little bit more, because the bigger video is just too long for me. Let's get into this.
We're not going to get an accurate toxicology report. Why? Because she basically baked and melted in that Tesla trunk. A myriad of people.
I hate that she's using this. Like, I get it. This is why the lady gets a lot of following. This is that sensationalism that people like. But I hate that. I'm like, please, because if that was my sister or my daughter, and I got Nancy Grace talking about my child baked in a car, I'm about to just get, I'm about to go at you in so many ways. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, as a mother, I'm sorry. I cannot. I struggle with that. And I know that empathy is not for everybody. I get it, but I have that hat, okay? Because I'm thinking about somebody's life. So I'm just saying, I hate that. I hate that, but okay.
Pill bottles found in D4VD, aka David Anthony Burke's home. Why do I care? I care because I'm going to find out who owned these pill bottles full of oxy. I'm talking oxy, fentanyl, opiates that could kill a little girl.
Okay.
All I need is one witness. One witness to crack. One of Burke's insiders to tell the truth about the night Celeste died. Otherwise, no one is going to be held responsible. That's the way it's heading right now. Things could change. When you say a core group, what does that mean? Are you referring to the 2 to 4 people we think live there with Burke?
Yeah, or at least we're staying there often. They might have had their own residences too, but they had belongings there. The nightstands were being used and whatnot, and there was a couple mail.
Hold it.
This is what. So if you guys remember what Steve Fisher was saying, where there were items that were left behind, and that was the question that a lot of us had. That, okay, I have to pull her other video just to make sure I don't miss anything, but. How does because he hired these movers and they didn't just go one day. They went there, I think, multiple days. How do they miss so much? They miss stuff that was left there that maybe was like unconventional things that would concern anybody. You're like, why are these items here, right? And Steve Fisher has said this. They left pill bottles. They left a bunch of things. So what did the movers move exactly? That's what I want to know.
Hold it. Hold it. Stop everything. I like that. Hold on. You're right. You're right, Fisher. You can have your own, under the law we call it domicile, your own residence. But if you basically shack up or live somewhere else, that's what I'm getting at. Yes, now I understand Luke Kenton's hesitance, because you don't have to formally live there to be living there.
Yes,
like
right.
That doesn't have to be where you get your mail or what you put on your tax forms, if you file tax forms. But if you're even conveniently living there, that's who I'm talking about. Back to Steve Fisher. Steve, I want to get to the nightstand. I hate to rush you, but I've got X number of minutes to get this information out. Nightstands, all right? Very important. Did you find paraphernalia drug paraphernalia, pill bottles, any evidence of someone sleeping in the home in the nightstands. Because, you know, when you go to a hotel and you're only going to be there one night, does everybody actually unpack their bags and all their stuff and put it in the nightstand? Is there evidence someone has been there more than one night? Why do I care? I care because I'm going to find out who owned these pill bottles full of oxy.
He's not going to tell you though. I don't think he's going to tell any. I don't know. Here's the question that I have. Even if the pill bottles were at this property, do we know that this is where Celeste might have died? Do we know for a fact that this is where Celeste might have died? I don't think we do. And again, not going back to what's been speculated about her being dismembered. We don't know, and it hasn't really been cleared. But one thing that has been said, if law enforcement is only looking at this by the concealment of a body, then does the dismemberment part go out the window? Because the dismemberment of a body would be another crime, right? Something to kind of think about. Okay.
I'm talking oxy, fentanyl, opiates that could kill a little girl. That's who I'm talking about, Steve Fisher. And once I can identify these people that were living there, whether officially or unofficially, then I have a witness list. See where I'm going, Steve?
Yep, I do. Yes, they were. So
she's like, tell me what I need to see. Listen, I know y'all gonna get mad at me in the chat. I know Turtle Boy did the Lauren Matthias eyebrows. I just might do the Nancy Grace eyeshadow. Like, I because it's literally cut off right here. I might look. Just say.
I gotta get that witness.
The nightstands were being used. There's no doubt, and you can tell that. You know, there. You know, in the master bedroom there was female products, and the bathroom was completely filled with things where it wasn't just an overnight type of thing. It was like a living situation, and they also had, you know, like gaming stations set up and whatnot in the rooms for different.
Okay,
people,
gaming stations don't mean anything to me because D4VD could be using those gaming stations. He's online playing games constantly, so he could just wander from room to room. I need evidence that other people were living there because I want to try to connect them to these pill bottles.
He's not going to give you that though. I just like, oh man. Okay.
If that is in fact the COD on Celeste. Wait a minute. Again, that's not going to convince a jury, Steve Fisher. Hate to put you on the hot spot, not. But when you say female products, what are you talking about? Are you afraid to say tampon on the air? Over 50% of the population. We're women. We know what they are. Don't be afraid, little boy. What were the female products and how much were there?
Why do you guys email me this stuff? Like, why do you wait, I'm telling you, I am literally going to go live one day and do the Nancy Grace. I'm literally going to do the Nancy Grace eyeshadow. I am. That wig, I can give me a wig like that. That shouldn't be no problem. I'm literally going to do it one of these days. I'm going to do it. I am. And it'll be for entertainment purposes. But this is too much.
Again, that's not going to convince a jury, Steve Fisher. Hate to put you on the hot spot, not. But when you say female products, what are you talking about? Are you afraid to say tampon on the air? Over 50% of the population. We're women. We know what they are. Don't be afraid, little boy. What were the female products?
I can't, man. Why do people let her do this shit?
And how much were there to indicate somebody was actually living there? This is important.
There was feminine hygiene products for sure, but there's also a ton of makeup, and makeup bags and hair product that is female based. But there was.
Yeah, but okay. I've seen D4VD kind of, he does the eyeliner. I've seen him do kind of makeup stuff. So how do we know that makeup doesn't belong to D4VD? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if you see the other pictures, you see him that he's got painted nails. Not my thing, you know what I'm saying? But it's a different style, a different generation. He's got like eyeliner. I've seen him kind of wear different, I don't know, feminine type of stuff.
Feminine hygiene products for sure. And there was, I think, like 6 or 7 separate, containers of them. So it wasn't just like an overnight type of thing. There was
because Steve, the reason I'm parsing products here is because it could be argued that D4VD David Anthony Burke,
Make-
uses makeup in his videos. So I need something I know he's not going to use, like a big box of 40 to 60 tampons. That's what I'm talking about. And I don't care if the owner of these pill bottles was a woman, a man, I don't care. I just need to get names, which you can get off pill bottles.
What makes you think that she even had tampons? What if she didn't? I don't know. It's a lot of assumptions to assume that that would mean that somehow she's there. I mean, there were other females that were going to this property. We've seen videos of them.
Now, with all of this in mind, straight out to Dr. Kendall Crowns joining us, as I've mentioned, Chief Medical Examiner, Tarrant County, and star of Mayhem in the Morgue. Dr. Kendall Crowns, I've waited on a lot of toxicology reports, as have you, to get an official cause of death. Toxicology reports are needed in a case where you can't look at the body, either under the microscope like you or with a naked eye like me, and say, oh yeah, she was stabbed dead. Oh yeah, she was bludgeoned dead. Oh yeah, this is a GSW gunshot wound.
Okay.
You have to have toxicology when you can't overtly see what the COD is, right? But in all of my history, I don't recall it taking this long. Is this the death knell? Does this mean toxicology is not revealing a cause of death?
Well, it can be the fact that it can take up to 8 to 10 weeks to get good toxicology testing done, especially in a severe decomp. She was in
The severe decomp, right? I mean, they couldn't even recognize, I think, initially, what was going on.
that trunk for several weeks. Her decomposition processes could have caused her blood to dry up and other tissues to not be available. And they may be relying on liver and muscle to get their toxicologic testing done. And when they have to rely on these two solid organs, the toxicology lab has to grind them up and homogenize them, making them into a liquid so they can test them. And this can add even more time.
Okay, just stop
to it.
right there. Stop right there. Stop. Dr. Kendall Crowns, look, everybody on this panel.
You know, this is the crazy part is like somebody gets ready to say something and she immediately like stops them right then and there. And I think they're not even allowed to finish their thought or their sentence or anything like that. It's crazy.
Accepts that you're smarter than us. Can you please dumb me down? I don't know what you just said. What? Grind it down for a what test? What?
So when you have no blood left to test from, and all you have left is solid organs, you can collect muscle and liver at the time of autopsy. That is sent to the toxicology lab, and they put it in basically a blender, and they make it into like a slurry or a smoothie of this tissue.
Oh God, this is just like too many details. I don't even want to hear that.
And then that way they're able to extract the liquid to put it into the machines to do the toxicology testing, because the toxicology machines that do the testing can't use solid organs. So it has to be liquefied in some way. And by doing that, it takes the process
Okay, you know
longer.
what? I just want to digest what you just said because of all of the prosecution's investigations I've had.
She says digest after he says smoothie. I can't, man.
Which I can't count. I've never heard it put just quite like that. You're saying that Celeste's liver, her dried up liver, is put in a blender and blended until it's liquefied so that some machine somewhere can run a test on it?
Oh my God.
Correct.
Okay, moving forward, after Celeste's liver is liquefied in a blender, then that is put into a what?
It depends on the toxicology lab, but they usually use like a GC.
This guy can hardly stay awake. I'm sorry. His eyes. Oh my gosh.
Mass spectrometry, which is gas chromatography mass spectrometry machine that then can look at drug levels within that slurry of tissue.
So you use a mass spectrometer to look at, oh, here's another one. If you put a dried organ into the blender, as you call it, and you blend it, you still have a dry organ. How does it become liquefied?
Oh my God. What is that? What is that? If that, yeah, like Nancy sounds, she's so mad at the scientific process of testing the organs. Shouldn't they run the test? Like, and you're asking how they're doing it. Now you're asking about a dry organ?
They add certain fluids to it to make it more liquefied. I don't know specifically what they add, but it's probably normal saline, probably most likely normal saline. So it helps liquefy it and doesn't add to the toxicology or decrease the toxicology.
Okay.
Of course, there are charts that are available.
That newly formed liquid, which is dried liver and saline is put into a mass spec, and then you can determine from that, in lieu of blood, whether there were drugs in Celeste's system. Do I have that right?
Yes, you do.
Dr. Kendall Crowns, you heard Dr. Bethany Marshall talking about how, what if there were sex games? What if there was a strangulation game, an asphyxiation game going on?
Oh my God.
All that evidence on her body, just theoretically, if it existed, is gone because her body has been decomposing for so long in the trunk. Would you expect to find bruising? Would you be able to find it? Let's just pretend she died
Now that is a good question. I'll give you that. The other stuff, I'm like, there's a better way to ask that, but okay.
on September 7th.
And she's so yes, even though the body's decomposed, you can still find physical evidence like bruising, stab wounds, gunshot wounds, things of that nature. Even if they've completely mummified and their skin's hard as a rock or dried hard, you can still notice the wounding patterns, can still find bruising, and then cut into that dried leathery skin, peel it back, and find hemorrhage in the subcutaneous tissue or the fat underneath. And the other thing you can look for is fractures of the bones. So even if all the tissue is decomposed away, you can still look at the bones and find fractures.
Okay, so that video was very short. I guess we're gonna have to go to the original. Hold up, because I did pull it just in case. Because I wanted to hear Steve talk a little bit more. You said, minds y'all, they can also use the fluid from the inside the eye. Why can't I read? Okay, sorry. So let me get right into, she goes kind of, I can only do Nancy Grace for so long. She does drive me crazy, y'all. She really does. I feel like sometimes she's very insensitive about certain things.
Owner of Search Investigation, who is hired by the owner of Burke's mansion. Now, I want to get to the fact that there is no COD right now. In my experience, a toxicology report, a screening would have come back by now, which leaves me concerned, Steve Fisher, that we're not going to get an accurate toxicology report. Why? Because she basically baked and melted in that Tesla trunk. Tell me.
Again, we get it.
About the pill bottles, the numerous pill bottles scattering D4VD's mansion.
When they moved out of the house, they took what they took. They left the rest behind, and we found opiate prescription medications. Now, I can't say that they weren't taking these as prescribed, but there was, several bottles of them in the house, and there's other, paraphernalia that can be used for recreational drugs.
Okay, stop right there, Steve. Steve, okay, you're on Crime Stories. There's no wiggle room. When you say drug paraphernalia, what do you mean? Please be.
With this, she did that last time. Remember, we were watching this. You guys were asking me to review this, and I'm watching. I'm like, she's just so. Anyways, let me stop.
Be specific.
There was items that can be used for like vaping, not just like tobacco, but also other items. There was many of them, and then also smoking pipes.
And don't worry, Steve, I understand you're not saying that's what the drug paraphernalia was used for. I simply asked you, let me rephrase it for you, what you found. I'm not asking you who it belonged to, who used it, or how it was used. So, 1, 2, 3. What did you find, Steve Fisher, in D4VD, David Anthony Burke's rented mansion?
Didn't he already answer that? Did he not answer that? Why are we repeating that? Okay.
Specifically.
So there was opiate prescription medication.
Just said that.
There was a few bottles of that. And then there was paraphernalia that you can use to smoke different types of drugs. It's not for one type. It's something you find in a smoke shop.
Okay, opiates can mean any number of things.
Right.
Dr. Kendall Crowns is joining us, Chief Medical Examiner, Tarrant County. That's Fort Worth. He is an esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU, and he's a star of a hit podcast, Mayhem in the Morgue. Dr. Crowns, please, simply put, when I'm hearing opiates are found in the home, what could that consist of? What is an opiate?
An opiate is a classification of drugs that are like painkillers. It can be heroin, morphine, fentanyl, hydrocodone, oxycodone, and anything in those kind of categories. So opiates is a broad term that you can then take that generalized term and break it down into these other more specific findings like fentanyl or heroin by doing toxicologic testing.
Okay, so opiates found in the home, and when Steve Fisher goes out of his way to say that they were prescriptioned, that's good because we're going to have names on those pill bottles. Steve Fisher, without
Nancy wants to know the names. Nancy wants the names. Give her the names.
divulging names were their names on the pill bottles of opiates.
And the thing is that then Steve gets a lot of shit from people that say, well, why are you releasing this? So it's like, why would he give you names? It doesn't make sense.
They were, and they were hydrocodone. They were Lortab, generic Lortab, opiates, painkillers.
Okay, now for some reason, you've loosened up and you're telling me what you found. Lortab and Oxy. Okay, to Dr. Kendall Crowns, isn't it true that typically you can get opiates by prescription, or you can
Lortab and Oxy. Okay, that's what he said, right?
just get them on the street?
Yes, you can get them either way. Prescription or purchasing them off the street is a fine way of getting them. Usually prescription medications are fairly easy to get a hold of from doctors and pain management doctors especially.
To Luke Kenton joining us, senior investigative reporter with Daily Mail. Luke Kenton, thank you for being with us. You see where I'm going with this, right, Luke? If there were multiple pill bottles of opiates.
Lortab, I remember I had surgery and I had to take Lortab afterwards, and that just, it just made me so itchy. You said Lortab is not, but this was many years ago that I had to take it. I definitely remember that. No, it's not. It's not HIPAA because Steve Fisher is not a physician. HIPAA only applies to people that are in the medical helping field. If I'm a nurse and I'm treating Susan and I disclose Susan's medical situations, then HIPAA would apply. But I'm not, and neither is he, so it doesn't apply. People always get HIPAA kind of wrong all the time.
And, you know, from what I've seen, and it hasn't all made it into mainstream media, there were a lot of people in and out, a core group living there, but a lot of people in and out of Burke's home. There were a lot of pill bottles reportedly in Burke's home. Where I'm going with this is, if we don't get a COD, cause of death, if she's too decomposed to get a good toxicology screen, the argument is going to be, Luke Kenton, oh, she voluntarily, all on her own, just gobbled down a bunch of opiates and she died. That's how she died, everybody. We had nothing to do with it. And then out of fear, we hit her body.
You know what? If she could get through all the extra stuff that she does, I just wish she would just get to this point where it's like, that's the issue, right? That she took a bunch of prescription medicine. Somebody gave it to her, right? Somebody, if it's an overdose, if that's what we're thinking, she had access to it, somebody gave it to her, and then she passed away. Is the person that gave her the prescription, or if it was given to her this way, is that person going to be held accountable? Or who's to say it was a prescription? It wasn't some street drug or something like that. We don't know, right? But this is a good point. And this is where I'm like, I just wish you'd just get to the point sometimes.
That's where this is going, Kenton.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the complicated nature of this investigation as it stands. You know, when this story first broke, you saw young girl found in singer's car. You thought, okay, slam dunk arrest, but much more information that we don't currently have. And chief among that is a concrete timeline. We don't even know really when Celeste was last seen alive. We don't know how long she was dead for. And as you say, you know, we don't know how she died. And it's unclear if we're even going to get any clarity on that.
Do you have any idea, Luke Kenton, who the people were going in and out? It was like Grand Central Station at Burke's mansion. And who were the core people actually living there?
Isn't that, it's interesting that she's saying this, but TMZ said something different. Okay. Okay.
Idea on that? Have they been identified and that has just not been released?
They haven't been publicly named. There has been, obviously, as I'm sure you're aware, a lot of online sleuthing going on around this case and trying to piece together the blanks that the LAPD aren't currently filling in for us publicly. Some of these individuals, and I can't speak to the people that may or may not have been living at the home, but there was a group that David was often seen with on social media. One close friend in particular that appeared to be involved in his music team in some capacity.
Okay, so basically what you're telling me is there's a lot of people in and out and nobody can confirm it. Okay, Luke Kenton, I understand where you're coming from, but Steve Fisher, if a cop got up on the stand and tried to sell me that bill of goods, okay, I would have him held in contempt of court because you have painstakingly gone up and down the streets surrounding David Burke's home and you have amassed video. Ring, doorbell cam, security cam, you name it cam. And you can see.
Is she gonna try this again? Is she gonna try it again?
Who is going in and out of the home. And forget getting it up and down the street. That mansion, let's see that shot control room that we got from our friend Harvey Levin over at TMZ. The mansion is covered in security cams. So we know who goes.
He's friends with Harvey Levin, guys. Okay. And what is TMZ doing right now? They're shitting on anything that Steve Fisher is putting out. Because, and then we watched that one video where they twisted his words, and he's having to fix that. Keep in mind that I'm like, I would be careful about these, because they are friends. They're friends with each other. Anyways,
in and stays overnight on a daily basis. It's not rocket science, Fisher, to figure out who's living there. All you have to do is ping their phone and see, is it there night after night after night? I mean, do I have to connect the dots here?
No, it's like I said, it's not hard to do. In fact, they put it on their own social media. There's constantly, photos in the house. There's a group of 4 or 5 of them that are always there, and they're kind of David's, groupies or whatever. They work with them, but they're always around. And like I said, there's surveillance. And in fact, I have a meeting this afternoon with another homeowner that's back in town, and hopefully getting important surveillance from very close to the house.
Another homeowner, more surveillance.
That might shed more light on that. And I'll tell you, one of the people actually left the car there for 2 months while this was all going on. So these are people that were definitely using the house kind of as a home base, at least.
You know what, Fisher? Let's just cut it. Let's just cut through it. All I need is one witness. One witness to crack. One.
Okay, this is the part where we already watch, and I'm gonna try to skip over. I don't like rewatching. Okay, let me go right here, because I'm like, I can't deal.
Nightstands. All right. Very important. Did you find paraphernalia, drug paraphernalia, pill bottles, any evidence of someone sleeping in the home in the nightstands? Because, when you go to a hotel and you're only going to be there one night, does everybody actually unpack their bags and all their stuff and put it in the nightstand?
No.
Is there evidence someone has been there more than one night? Why do I care? I care because I'm going to find out who owned these pill bottles full of oxy. I'm talking oxy, fentanyl, opiates that could kill a little girl. That's who I'm talking about, Steve Fisher. And once I can identify these people that were living there, whether officially or unofficially, then I have a witness list. See where I'm going, Steve?
Yep, I do. Yes, they were. So
I got to get that witness.
The nightstands were being used.
Steve, give her the witness, damn it. What are you doing?
There's no doubt, and you can tell that there in the master bedroom there was female products, and the bathroom was completely filled with things where it wasn't just an overnight type of thing. It was like a living situation, and they also had like gaming stations set up and whatnot in the rooms for different.
Okay,
people,
gaming stations don't mean anything to me because D4VD could be using those gaming stations. He's on.
Okay, like I said, we've already watched this on the first clip. Let me try to fast forward some of this.
Woman, a man, I don't care. I just need to get names, which you can get off pill bottles.
Not giving it to you.
I want to talk about the potential COD and what is the holdup. Joining me is Joanna Nieves. She is a veteran criminal defense attorney, founder of the Nieves Law Firm, and she's joining us out of California. Joanna, thank you for being with us. This is, it's like somewhere up in the atmosphere, the lack of a COD, cause of death, just fell in the defense lap. And now they have an avenue, a convincing avenue of defense.
Here's the deal is that he hasn't even been formally charged. She's calling it a defense already, that this is going to be maybe she could foresee the future. I don't know. And, her being, she was a lawyer before. So she's already seen this as something that they could use. Oh, they can't confirm the cause of death. Therefore, there's nothing here for it. She died the way that she did, whatever that might have been. Does Nancy wake up like this? Is Pedlin? I'm just I don't know, man. I think it's a personality thing. She turns it on and off when she wants to. I've seen that done a lot here. I don't think that this is who she really is in real life. But this is something that, can you imagine? That'd be insane. I'd be like, let me give you an opioid so you can go to sleep or something.
I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's false. But when you have a young girl dead in the trunk and dismembered, which is a whole nother issue, that's not accidental. Yeah. We don't have a COD. We have all these pill bottles lying around. I can see where the defense is headed. What would you?
This is a good question, though. Phoenix, is why didn't maybe they weren't looking at it that way to take any kind of pill bottles, or anything like that. The movers didn't take the pill bottles. Clearly, it's wild to me. Like the opioids. I mean, prescription. If there's a name and they're like, well, that's somebody's prescription, I'm not taking it. Then maybe that's not something that they deem part of the investigation. Are they doing it now? Well, I guess I'm confused by this. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna try to fast forward a little bit, y'all, because I kind of short on time. Okay, she does the advertisement there. Let's go.
Canceled Withered World Tour. Burke had a very small.
Hold up. I want to see where Steve is at. Okay. This lady's back. Okay, here it is.
Was all the drug paraphernalia in one place? Like people were just doing it recreationally, or was it scattered
Well, let's go to
around
Steve Fisher on
like
that.
a mess?
Steve Fisher, where were the drugs? And let me also point out, Steve Fisher, well, we learned this from you. LAPD had already searched the home. Now, they haven't mentioned finding drug or drug paraphernalia. That does not mean they didn't find it. But by the time you searched it, where did you find the drugs?
So there was several different bottles of them, and one, being in a living room table that was kind of like a where they did all the streaming from is accessible there, and then also in the bathrooms. So I think there was 3 different opiate prescription bottles, and so they were accessible. They weren't locked up or anything like that. They were accessible to anybody in the house.
They weren't locked up, and they were accessible to anybody in the house. That's important.
Okay, and you're speaking legally right now in response to Dr. Bethany Marshall, and you're right, Steve. The fact that they were in various locations, those doors were not locked. Anyone would have had access to them. But, isn't it true, Joanna Nieves, veteran defense attorney, that under the law, and this is a jury charge, a jury instruction that will be read to a jury, in this case, if there ever is one, says that the jury can take into account behavior before, during, and after the incident, which means a jury could take into account that very oddly, very uncharacteristically, all of D4VD, David Anthony Burke's friends that normally live together, that hang out together every single day and night, that park their cars there for months on end, they all scattered to north, south, east, and west and unfollowed each other. That can be taken into account, and it can be argued on closing that is a guilty conscience. What
do you guys think about that? And that's a good point. I'll give her that. The friends are acting kind of different. They kind of unfollowed. Maybe they thought that she was 19 and they're like, we're not trying to associate ourselves with this situation, so we might as well unfollow because we wouldn't have supported him if he was with a minor at the time. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking out loud.
Something bad went down. You know about it, so you get the hell out of Dodge. Can't that be argued by a prosecution?
Yes, this could be an indicator of consciousness of guilt, but what we have to keep in mind is that something bad did happen. There was a dismembered body in a trunk. So they are likely trying to distance themselves from the fact that someone tried to conceal a body and there was a knowingness around that. But the point still remains that we can't prove yet whether this was the cause of death was actually a murder and then the concealment of the body.
Oh, Lord.
Bombshell tonight. Crime Stories now streaming.
Okay. Bombshell tonight. Let's keep moving. We saw this part where they start talking about the liquefied. I don't want to hear about that again. That was too much, at least for my mind. Okay, Steve is back right there.
Hard, you can still notice the wounding patterns. You can still find bruising and then cut into that dry, leathery skin, peel it back and find hemorrhage in the subcutaneous tissue or the fat underneath. And the other thing you can look for is fractures of the bones. So even if all the tissue is decomposed away, you can still look at the bones and find fractures.
Okay, I don't know if I've told you tonight yet, Dr. Kendall Crowns, but you're brilliant. But I've got another fact to plug into your equation. Steve Fisher.
You're brilliant. I'm like, oh, no, she's being nice now. Okay, it's just like, take it when she's being nice. Okay.
Sure, I just pretended Celeste was dead or killed September 7, but you have information based on you combing the neighborhood to get video and more. You have information that she was in the trunk a lot longer than the day before the car was found.
Yeah, so we have video evidence of the car being moved. That's about on July 29th. And even if we didn't have that, we still have the parking enforcement officers that took photos, going back 2 weeks before the car was towed. So she was in that for quite a while, but definitely on or before July 29th.
Well, I'm telling you, I believe that that's her in that photo that we have found.
That's not her. Nancy, I told you this last time in my last video, Nancy. I told you, even Steve Harvey, I'm sorry, Why am I thinking about that's a whole different person? Even Harvey Levin said that they had the wrong person. She is saying, I still believe that's her. That's not her. Harvey Levin spoke out. They put that picture up there. Hold up.
Officers that took photos, going back 2 weeks before the car was towed. So she was in that for quite a while, but definitely on or before July 29th.
Well, I'm telling you, I believe that that's her in that photo that we have found.
Oh my. TMZ put this photo up. This is of somebody that looks like Celeste while he was like in concert or whatever. She's kind of like got the, seats up there. It looks like her, but Harvey Levin, they got that photo from Reddit and then they put it on their article and then they came back and then they fixed that. So she might believe it's her, but Harvey, who put the information out publicly, said it wasn't her. So I don't know, man. Okay. I'm just letting you know what Harvey said.
At a D4VD concert August the 4th. Straight back out to Luke Kenton joining us, senior investigative reporter at DailyMail.com, who's been on the story from the beginning. I know you're familiar with the August 4th photo with either Celeste or a Celeste lookalike wearing her jeans and her black tube top up in the balcony that is reserved for friends and family of D4VD, aka David Anthony Burke. That was August the 4th, was it not, Luke Kenton?
It was August the 4th, yes. The investigation that was done around that video, it was claimed at least that wasn't Celeste depicted. We know David hung out with a number of other individuals who bear some slight resemblance to Celeste.
Isn't it crazy that David would hang out with girls that look like Celeste? There's a lot of girls that look like Celeste. Maybe that's the look that he's attracted to. I don't know, but yeah.
But on the subject of last known contact, a couple of sources close to Celeste who went to school with Celeste said that even though she was missing for a year or so, she continued contact with friends, and that contact cut in either late June or early July. It's my understanding that form of contact was message based, so there's no way of verifying who was sending those messages. But her phone was at least active until that point, according to two sources.
So, Luke Kenton, that's really interesting, and not just interesting, it could be probative. You're saying that her friends, her old friends, before David Anthony Burke, quit hearing from her at the latest in, did you say mid-July?
It was late June to very early July, which is what I was told by one of those.
Now, regarding that video, the video that was turned into an isolated photo of who many believe to be Celeste in that special friends and family booth above D4VD, David Anthony Burke, you said some people are saying that's not Celeste. Who is saying that's not Celeste?
Your friend.
That was actually reported, I believe, by TMZ, and the information that came from that report was that it was individuals close to, or individuals with knowledge of the matter said it wasn't Celeste. Didn't
I told you guys this last week when we reviewed this, and she's showing that picture. I told everybody that that's what they did, and then now the guy is saying it. Okay, all right, Nancy, all right.
Able to verify personally one way or the other, but I agree with you that she certainly resembles Celeste. But again, there are a few people in and around that circle that do that are of Hispanic heritage and do slightly resemble Celeste in some ways. Hard to know difference.
Luke Kenton, you're saying that people close to D4VD, David Anthony Burke, he calls that David, people close to Burke say, oh no, that's not her. Is that correct?
That's my understanding of somebody else's reporting. Where my reporting is concerned, yeah.
So whenever I put a witness on the stand, I judge their credibility, their veracity. I consider the source. So if my source on that is, and I agree with you, Luke, that seems to have come from within D4VD's camp. They're going, oh no, that's not her. All right, that and $1 will buy me a cup of coffee at McDonald's. No, I'm not buying what somebody in that camp says. No, but we know that, for instance, the FBI, for Pete's sake, Target even has the greatest surveillance video. That video and that photo can be used and enhanced to determine, is it really Celeste? Why do I care this much? Because if it is Celeste, that puts her alive on August the 4th. So that weighs into it. What does it weigh into? It weighs into what? I'm asking Dr. Kendall Crowns. That was a big roundabout. Yeah.
Yes, Osman, thank you so much. I did see your comment. I just couldn't read it right now. Ashlee Buzzard was arrested on unrelated charges. We'll definitely go into that as soon as I'm done with this video. Thank you so much. That whole situation is crazy. I just saw, and I'll switch over here when I get done here. I promise.
A lot of those in Great Britain. A big roundabout. Back to Dr. Kendall Crowns. If I can place her alive at, as Luke was saying, at the beginning of July, if she was dead then, and that's not Celeste in the balcony, can I get a COD on her body? You said even a mummy can reveal bruises once you cut into the bruise and look at the subcutaneous tissue. That's a big word for under the skin. Even on a mummy, you can find that?
Yes. I mean, you can still look at the tissues or the skin surface, even if they're dried and mummified, and still find injuries, gunshot wounds, stab wounds, bruises, all still are there. You just have to kind of change your thinking on what you're looking at because of the decomposition process. If she was still alive in July, that would be August and early September. She'd only been missing for about a month or dead about a month. She probably wouldn't even be mummified at that point. She would just probably be bloated, green, and with skin slippage. And
oh, I don't want to hear this. Like, while we're looking at these pictures of this child, like, oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I agree. I'm not trying to argue the science, but I can't be listening to that kind of stuff. And then here she makes a commercial about American financing. Call 1-888 something something. I can't do that. Like, that's crazy work to me.
Amidst all of the scientific jargon we're hearing out of the medical examiners and the analyses by brilliant psychoanalysts like Dr. Bethany Marshall, the news from Luke Kenton, Steve Fisher on this from the very beginning, and it seemingly doesn't matter to a lot of people what Fisher has absolutely dug up. That's non-refutable so far. Conspiracy theories abounding online as to what really happened. Listen.
The David and Celeste thing is the most obvious Hollywood satanic ritual I've ever seen.
That actually hurt my ear. My ears are bleeding. And that is from @SupremeTings on TikTok. There's more. Listen.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest, gotta be honest, bro. The David situation is all the PR stuff, okay? You guys are all falling for it. Do you not notice all of us literally singing in the back of my mind? Like, bro, it's a literal PR stunt. He hit #1 on iTunes.
Okay, he lost me with the Cruella hair right there. I'm out. No, I'm not putting him on the stand. With another crazy theory, and that is from @Light, Light, Son Zane on TikTok. These conspiracy theories are as old as time. Are they real? No. But if you remember the Scott Peterson case, the zany conspiracy theories were actually used at trial. Yeah. Here's a great one. An O.J. Simpson crazy zany conspiracy theory.
So I, without a shadow of a doubt, believe that OJ did not kill Nicole or Ron, but it was his son Jason, and here's why. So evidence-wise, there was about 15 fingerprints that they could not trace back to OJ. There was also a cap there that had dog hair on it, but OJ didn't own a dog, but Jason did, and pictures have been proven to know that that cap is Jason's. They just failed to get any kind of DNA evidence off of Jason. He's also had a prior aggravated assault with a deadly weapon against one of his ex-girlfriends.
What?
Woman. Simpson, the O.J. Simpson, Orenthal James Simpson, committed double murder. Quit trying to rope in his son who's out minding his own business the night of the murders. That is from @Zoe_GermX.
Is she calling out these? Oh my God, she's calling out these people.
Okay, let's see. Crazy conspiracy theories that the defense will absolutely use. How about Brian Kohberger?
Oh my God.
Kohberger is innocent. I told you Kohberger was innocent.
Why are we here? Can we just get to the point where we're talking about David and Celeste? Let's move on.
So much of that is not true. What non-drug house? What is she saying? That's from Berries and Branches on TikTok. Zany conspiracy theories that you would think don't amount to a hill of beans, but that can be used by an adroit defense attorney. As a matter of fact, Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter who investigated the Delphi double murders with me, wasn't there a zany conspiracy theory that the Odinists killed Libby and Abby, the two little girls found under that trestle bridge?
I can't, y'all. I'm sorry. This is it. There's nothing. I thought she was bringing Steve Fisher back. No, she went off to a whole different thing. No, we're not doing that. I'm sorry. All right. Yeah. Shout out to Nancy Grace. Real quick. Mother of missing girl Melody Buzzard arrested of unrelated charges. Ooh, they got the handcuffs while she's wearing the Cher wig. Yes, my friends, they got the handcuffs on her while she's wearing the Cher wig. Didn't we say it was Cher? Or what did we say? Unrelated charges. All right, so let's get into this. Ashlee Buzzard, the mother of the 9-year-old Melanie Buzzard, for those that don't remember, this is the girl that was taken across state lines. We're seeing different videos of her. There was new footage release of, I believe it was yesterday, and I didn't have time to report it, but of her and her mom, basically, while they were traveling. She takes her across state lines, and we don't even know what happens to her, like where she's at. People don't know where she's at. Mom is not cooperating. They've had to do search warrants and everything. Buzzard was seen handcuffed and being led by Santa Barbara County Sheriff's officials from her home and is waiting in a sheriff's vehicle. So this is breaking news. Shout out to Osman, who gave me the heads up here. Sheriff's officials say her arrest on felony charges of false imprisonment is unrelated to their missing person investigation. Officials say detective recently learned that Ashlee had prevented a victim from leaving a location against their will. They say no other information about the incident is being released at this time. The road in front of Ashlee's house was briefly closed to traffic starting around 11:15 a.m. while authorities were in the scene on Friday, today. Meanwhile, sheriff's officials say detectives remain focused on locating Melanie. We don't know where this little girl is at. We don't know what this mom did. Literally. What? Yes, we just talked about it. Melanie is moving boxes. She was caught moving boxes this morning. Absolutely. Not D. Yeah. She got the D. Snyder wig, the Cher wig. So this is her. So this is not related to her missing child, but false imprisonment of a person, I guess. So Ashlee has not been cooperating with detectives. This is the footage that they saw of her earlier. This is her child. She put a wig on her child. They're at a car rental place. Hold up. Let me go back. That's right. She will be booked on $100,000 bond. Okay. Bail set. Detectives arrested Ashlee on felony charges of false imprisonment. That's crazy work, y'all. That is crazy. Well, that's breaking news. And here's the other thing, too, that I wanted to show you guys. This is what PRUNO juice, PRUNO drink looks like. For those that were wondering about the Diddy drink, this is what it looks like. Okay? That's so right out of the bottle. Okay? That's what Diddy was drinking. Guys, shout out to everybody in the chat. I have a lot of thoughts about the Celeste situation. I have to go back and really think about everything. It sounds like we got more new information as far as pill bottles, what they were, and everything. So a lot to think about. But shout out to everybody that supported the channel today. Hold up, let me shout out some people. Diddy, before I forget, gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Diddy. Venus Blue, thank you for being a member for 18 months. Thank you. And again, Diddy, 25 months. Girl, you are OG status at this point. Thank you. Is it Lamba PR? Thank you so much for becoming a member. And Oz, thank you again for the super sticker. Venus Blue, again, member for 18 months. Thank you, love. Shout out to everybody, guys. Thank you so much for supporting. I do have to go because I was pressed on time, but I really, really do appreciate it. That's right. And hit the like button. Don't forget, subscribe. It's free. Thank you, Felicia. All right, I will let you guys go. You guys have a great one. Bye, guys. Happy Friday. Don't forget to watch the other video we dropped. Bye, guys.